I was wrong, and I think many others were wrong. After watching that Spain-France game, I didn't think France was a team that could be beaten with the way they were playing in this World Cup, but holy, they crumbled. They crumbled under everything that Spain threw at them. The defense for France could not handle the pressure. The attackers could not handle the pressure. The midfielders were getting run through. It did not also help that Rabiot got a yellow card within like the first 7 minutes or so, and he couldn't make any reckless challenge or like any hard challenges for pretty much the entire game. So that was also a really bad start from him in France overall. But I just didn't expect it. I did not expect for Spain to put on that big of a performance and dominate France as much as they did. It looked like that game that they played in the Euros a couple of years ago where Spain had dominated France for the most part. But oh my. And while the scoreline was 2-0 to Spain, it easily could have been 3 or 4. There's that offside goal that Lamine Yamal had, which was really good really well taken goal. He was barely offside, like a fraction. There was also another pen that could have been given, I think, to Spain from the way that I think it was Yamal who got pushed over pretty much in the box when the ref pretty much said it was like a shoulder-to-shoulder challenge, which I think was kind of very, very forgiving. I think that could have been a pen as well. He was not really trying to play the ball, in my opinion, but it didn't really matter at the end of the day. There was only like a handful of minutes left. First half, it was pretty even, I'd say. Going into the game, the lineups were. Let me go back to the lineup here. It was a on tape paper, pretty similar skill across the board for each team. I think that the front line for France obviously was better than the Spanish side. I think player for player, Mbappe is better than Oyarzabal. Dembele, I think, is better than Baena. I think Elise is better than Danny Olmo, and then I think Barcola's not as good of a player as Yamal, but that's still 3 to 4. The player department, the midfield, I think is pretty even. I think Spain have a better midfield. Rodri's one of the best CDMs in the world. Fabian Ruiz was amazing for PSG in their Champions League run and this World Cup so far. He's also been amazing. Tchouameni has been kind of hot and cold. Rabiot, I think, has just been consistently good throughout this tournament. And the back lines were, I think, on par, pretty much the same. Same with the goalkeepers. I think they're both similar skills. So it's pretty much just up to that forward line for both teams to make something count for the most part. And that's what happened. The Spanish team, this forward line did a lot more going forward than the French team did. And you can see that in the stats too. So just for the first half, it was 5 shots, one of them being a target. I don't know if they count the one that was a pen for being the one on target on here, but it was a well taken pen. Oyarzabal just took a pen, which I think everyone else should be doing. Just they don't none of that nonsense of like stutter stepping or slow walk up. Just walk up, run at it, smash into the net as hard as you can. He did a great job with that. For the penalty, I think it was a weird one, in my opinion, for that to give that as a call. I think when you're looking at it, he's Lucadine that is not really looking where Yamal is, but he knows where he is. So I don't know why he kind of went for that weird, like side, like weird, like kick on the ball instead of just clearing it with his head, out for a corner, off to the side, or even just clearing it out originally instead of doing what he did. But Yamal, I think he played that outstanding, like 1,000 IQ play. He saw that Lucadine did not know at all where he was at that moment. All he knew is that he just knew that Yamal was behind him. So he ran up, tried to force something, and got a pen out of it. Really well, smart play by Yamal there. And then for pretty much after that goal, there was a lull because the water break came not that long after, like a couple minutes after, and it kind of killed the momentum of that half for both teams. There was a lot of just end to end, losing possession a fair amount for both sides. France did look a bit dangerous going forward, but they just could not get that final pass for them. I think they just couldn't get it to Mbappe this first half. He had zero service, in my opinion. Nothing could get to him. I think it's just the back line was just playing that well. Um, yeah, they had 9 tackles, 10 clearances, an interception. They won 22 duels, so I think they were just playing defensively better in the first half. And then going into the first half or into the halftime break, 1-0 down, I think Didier Deschamps should have looked at his team and changed something, but he didn't really change anything. The only thing he changed was bring on Kone for Rabiot because Rabiot was on a yellow card. Side note, losing Saliba in the first half to a back injury, terrible timing. I think I saw somewhere said he's like his back was gone when he was coming off. He's like, my back's gone, my back's gone. And Lacroix coming on, big shoes to fill. And I think for the most part, he did fairly decent. He was pretty good on the ball. I think he was kind of at fault for the Pedro Porro goal. I think he could have had better positioning, but you're filling in for Saliba, arguably one of the best center backs in the world right now. So hard shoes to fill. Going back to the second half here, France started to get more dominant, but that was only after like the second water break. Pedro Porro, really well taken goal. Just bombing it forward. Good couple of passes straight to him, slots it in. Game pretty much set and matched there. It's very hard for anybody, even on a France caliber, to break down a Spanish side that has had 6 or I guess 5 shutouts going into this match, and this ended up being their 6th in a row, which I think is, I can't remember if it's a record or not, but it's insane defensively. They've conceded very little goals. I think they've only conceded let me actually look at it here. Yeah, so they had only won in the knockouts, and that was to Belgium. So yeah, and I think in the group stage they only had like one goal conceded in the first one of the games. But that's neither here nor there. 5 shutouts. Only having 1 or 2 goals conceded this entire tournament. And you're not a French team. How bad they were playing, they could not break down a well set, well coached Spanish defense, and they got a little bit of reprieve from that Lamine Yamal offside goal and a couple fouls kind of going their way, but they didn't really start turning it on until after that second water break, like I said, where they started getting more shots, more attacking presence in the final third, but they still couldn't get that final pass. There were so many whipped in crosses where they just could not get somebody's head on it. And this is a game where you need somebody like Mbappe to just get a head on the ball. But I don't think he has, I don't think he's that type of forward to be the type of guy to be in the box and head it in. I think he's more of the person that drives at the box, takes a good, nice shot, a couple touches to like get away from his defender and shoot it. And they just couldn't get that out of him because Spain was just so compact and really well defended in the back. There was that one run, I can't remember if it was in the first half or second half off the top of my head, where he got a really good pass from Dembele, and he was running towards the goal. This was in the first half, I remember now. The defenders all just clamped onto him, and he was basically forced to go outside. So you could see that they were marking Mbappe so well. They knew he was the main man for France, and they had to shut him down. They knew the wingers in Dembele, Doué, Barcola, they could handle them. They just needed to shut down the man that they're all trying to target with their passes. I think Spain kind of took their foot off the gas a little bit after that. After the second water break, they decided, let's set up shop. Let's just protect our players. Let's go. We can still go ahead and try to get another goal if the opportunity allows, but let's just protect what we have for right now, not try to waste energy. We got a final coming up soon. I think I have to give an apology to that Spanish front line. I thought coming into this tournament, they weren't scoring enough, in my opinion. I thought their front line was looked weaker. Yeah, they've scored 5 goals up into this game, or sorry, 6 goals before this game in the knockouts. But I thought looking against the Belgian team, the Portuguese game, I thought this front four here was not the best it could be. I thought they weren't the strongest in my opinion compared to other teams from Europe and Argentina. But the way they played, they shocked me, and I have to give my full applause to them. I was wrong. They look amazing. Oyarzabal is just better than I thought he was. Um, I coming into this tournament, obviously, unless if you watch La Liga, you don't know much about him for Real Sociedad. But apparently, he's just a great player up top for Spain, and he just was that guy for the team. So now Spain go on to the final, which I think many will be rooting for them. I think they are one of the best coached teams of this World Cup. I think that entire left side of the knockouts was just a bloodbath. There were so many good teams: Germany, France, Morocco, Netherlands, Croatia, Portugal, Spain, the US to some degree, Senegal to some degree, Belgium to some degree. It was just a you had to fight tooth and nail to get out of that side compared to what the next semifinals tomorrow side had, which only had like Brazil, Japan, Norway, Mexico, England, Argentina. Like I said, like there's only like maybe 5 to 6 teams on the right side, which could have a challenge at winning the thing. But I think a team like Spain were the only ones who I think could have gotten out of the left side with the way they played. So full applause to them. 100 points out of 100 points. But France now going to go to the third place, and I think it's a consolation prize. They have to win that to at least save face with the way they performed up until now. They had so much riding on them. If not to not get top three, I think will be a bit of a letdown for them. And for Spain, I think anything less than winning the World Cup against either Argentina or England, I think will be a loss. I think on paper, in the way that I've been watching them play this entire World Cup, they should beat both teams. England just can't get anything going forward. It's only like Kane and Bellingham that are scoring anything, and then Argentina are leaving it late until like the last 15 minutes to even get going for the most part. So if Spain can defend as well as they have been and continue to attack as well as many thought didn't think they were, like they were way better than they are going forward. So if they can continue doing that, I think they have a good shout to win this World Cup.